Welcome to Docket Decoder. If you enjoy our content, please do us a favor and hit that like button or subscribe so you can stay up to date with the latest court filings. Exhibit A, Statement of Dustin Blaker. The below information is provided by Sergeant Dustin Blaker. I am a duly appointed, qualified acting peace officer within the County of Latah, State of Idaho. I am employed by Moscow Police Department in the official capacity or position of sergeant, and I have been a trained and qualified peace officer for approximately 22 years. I attended the Idaho Peace Officers Academy from January 2000 to March of 2000, and then completed a 16-week field training program where I was released in July of 2000. During my 16 years of law enforcement, I have attended additional training to include basic narcotics training, which trained me in handling high-level cases. I have conducted many search warrants, and I have assisted with previous homicide investigations while at the Moscow Police Department. I'm being assisted by other officers of the Moscow Police Department, members of the Idaho State Police, and agents of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. On November 13th, 2022, at approximately 4 p.m., Moscow Police Department Corporal Brett Payne and I responded to 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho, hereafter the King Road residence, to assist with scene security and processing of a crime scene associated with 4 homicides. Upon our arrival, the Idaho State Police forensic team was on scene and was preparing to begin processing the scene. MPD Officer Smith, one of the initial responding officers to the incident, advised he would walk me through the scene. Officer Smith and I entered the King Road residence through the bottom floor door on the north side of the building. Officer Smith and I then walked upstairs to the second floor. Officer Smith directed me down the hallway to the west bedroom on the second floor, which I later learned through Xana's driver's license and other personal belongings found in the room was Xana Kernodle, hereafter Kernodle's room. Just before this room, there was a bathroom door on the south wall of the hallway. As I approached the room, I could see a body, later identified as Kernodle's, laying on the floor. Kernodle was deceased with wounds which appeared to have been caused by an edged weapon. Also in the room was a male, later identified as Ethan Chapin, hereafter Chapin. Chapin was also deceased with wounds later determined to be caused by sharp force injuries. I then followed Officer Smith upstairs to the third floor of the residence. The third floor consisted of 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. The bedroom on the west side of the floor was later determined to be Kaylee Goncalves, hereafter Goncalves' room. I later learned there was a dog in the room when Moscow police officers initially responded. The dog belonged to Goncalves and her ex-boyfriend, Jack DeCoeur. I found out from Corporal Payne's interview with Jack DeCoeur on November 13th, 2022, that he and Goncalves shared the dog. Officer Smith then pointed out a small bathroom on the east side of the third floor. This bathroom shared a wall with Madison Mogen, hereafter Mogen's, bedroom, which was situated on the southeast corner of the third floor. As I entered this bedroom, I could see 2 females in the single bed in the room. Both Goncalves and Mogen were deceased with visible stab wounds. I was later advised by ISP investigators they located a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Mogen's right side when viewed from the door. The sheath was later processed and had K-Bar, USMC, and the United States Marine Corps Eagle, Globe, and Anchor insignia stamped on the outside of it. The Idaho State Lab later located a single source of male DNA left on the button snap of the knife sheath. As part of the investigation, numerous interviews were conducted by the Moscow Police Department officers, Idaho State Police detectives, and FBI agents. 2 of the interviews included BF, hereafter BF, and DM, hereafter DM. Both BF and DM were inside the King Road residence at the time of the homicides and were roommates to the victims. BF's bedroom was located on the east side of the first floor of the King Road residence. Based on numerous interviews conducted by MPD officers, ISP detectives, and FBI agents, as well as my review of the evidence, I have learned the following. On the evening of November 12, 2022, Chapin and Kernodle are seen by BF at the Sigma Chi house on the University of Idaho campus at 735 Nez Perce Drive from approximately 9 p.m. BF also stated that Chapin did not live in the King Road residence, but was a guest of Kernodle. Goncalves and Mogen were at a local bar, the Corner Club, at 202 North Main Street in Moscow. Goncalves and Mogen can be seen on a video footage provided by the Corner Club between 10 p.m. on November 12th and 1:30 a.m. on November 13th. At approximately 1:30 a.m., Goncalves and Mogen can be seen on video at a local food vendor called the Grub Truck at 318 South Main Street in downtown Moscow. The Grub Truck live streams video from their food truck on the streaming platform Twitch, which is available for public viewing on their website. This video was captured by law enforcement. A private party reported that he provided a ride to Goncalves and Mogen at approximately 1:56 a.m. from downtown Moscow in front of Grub Truck to the King Road residence. DM and BF both made statements during interviews that indicated the occupants of the King Road residence were at home by 2 a.m. and asleep, or at least in their rooms, by approximately 4 a.m. This is with the exception of Kernodle, who received a DoorDash order at the residence at approximately 4 a.m. Law enforcement identified the DoorDash delivery driver who reported this information. DM stated she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor. DM stated she was awoken at approximately 4 a.m. by what she stated sounded like Goncalves playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms, which were located on the third floor. A short time later, DM said she heard who she thought was Goncalves say something to the effect of, "There's someone here." A review of records obtained from a forensic download of Kernodle's phone showed that this could also have been Kernodle, as her cellular phone indicated she was likely awake and using the TikTok app at approximately 4:12 a.m. DM stated she looked out of her bedroom but did not see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. DM stated she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Kernodle's room. DM then said she heard a male voice say something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." At approximately 4:17 a.m., a security camera located at 1112 King Road, a residence immediately to the northwest of 1122 King Road, picked up distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper followed by a loud thud. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times starting at 4:17 a.m. The security camera is less than 50 feet from the west wall of Kernodle's bedroom. DM stated she opened her door for a third time after she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. DM described the figure as 5 feet 10 inches or taller, male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past DM as she stood in a frozen shock phase. The male walked towards the back sliding glass door. DM locked herself in her room after seeing the male. This leads investigators to believe that the murderer left the scene. The combination of DM's statement to law enforcement, review of forensic downloads and records from BF and DM phone, and video of a suspect vehicle as described below leads investigators to believe the homicides occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. During the processing of the crime scene, investigators found a latent shoe print. This was located during the second processing of the crime scene by the ISP forensic team by first using a presumptive blood test and then AminoBlack, a protein stain that detects the presence of a cellular material. The detected shoe print showed a diamond-shaped pattern similar to the pattern of a Vans-type shoe sole, just outside the door of DM bedroom, located on the second floor. This is consistent with DM's statement regarding the suspect's path of travel. As part of the investigation, an extensive search, commonly referred to in law enforcement as a video canvass, was conducted in the area of the King Road residence. This video canvass was to obtain any footage from the early morning hours of November 13, 2022, in the area of the King Road residence and surrounding neighborhoods in an effort to locate the suspect or suspect vehicles traveling or leaving to or from the King Road residence. This video canvass resulted in the collection of numerous surveillance videos in the area from both residential and business addresses. I have reviewed numerous videos that were collected, and I have had conversations with other MPD officers, ISP detectives, and FBI agents that are similarly reviewing footage that was obtained. A review of camera footage indicated that a white sedan, hereafter suspect vehicle 1, was observed traveling westbound in the 700 block of Indian Hills Drive in Moscow at approximately 3:26 a.m. and westbound on Steiner Avenue at Idaho State Highway 95 in Moscow at approximately 3:28 a.m. On this video, it appeared suspect vehicle 1 was not displaying a front license plate. A review of footage from multiple videos obtained from the King Road neighborhood showed multiple sightings of suspect vehicle 1 starting at 3:29 a.m. and ending at 4:20 a.m. These sightings show suspect vehicle 1 make an initial 3 passes by the 1122 King Road residence and then leave via Willenta Drive. Based off my experience as a patrol officer, this is a residential neighborhood with a very limited number of vehicles that travel in that area during the early morning hours. Upon review of the video, there are only a few cars that enter or exit this area during this time frame. Suspect Vehicle 1 can be seen entering the area a fourth time at approximately 4:04 a.m. It can be seen driving eastbound on King Road, stopping and turning around in front of 500 Queen Road number 52, and then driving back westbound on King Road. When Suspect Vehicle 1 is in front of the King Road residence, it appeared to unsuccessfully attempt to park or turn around in the road. The vehicle then continued to the intersection of Queen Road and King Road, where it can be seen completing a three-point turn and then driving eastbound again down Queen Road. Suspect Vehicle 1 is next seen departing the area of the King Road residence at approximately 4:20 a.m. at a high rate of speed. Suspect Vehicle 1 is next observed traveling southbound on Willenta Drive. Based on my knowledge of the area and review of camera footage in the neighborhood that does not show Suspect Vehicle 1 during that time frame, I believe that Suspect Vehicle 1 likely exited the neighborhood at Palouse River Drive and Conestoga Drive. Palouse River Drive is at the southern edge of Moscow and proceeds to Whitman County, Washington. Eventually, the road leads to Pullman, Washington. Pullman, Washington is approximately 10 miles from Moscow, Idaho. Both Pullman and Moscow are small college towns, and people commonly travel back and forth between them. Law enforcement officers provided video footage of Suspect Vehicle 1 to forensic examiners with the Federal Bureau of Investigation that regularly utilize surveillance footage to identify the year, make, and model of an unknown vehicle that is observed by one or more cameras during the commission of a criminal offense. The forensic examiner has approximately 35 years law enforcement experience with 12 years at the FBI. His specific training includes identifying unique characteristics of vehicles, and he uses a database that gives visual clues of vehicles across states to identify differences between vehicles. After reviewing the numerous observances of Suspect Vehicle 1, the forensic examiner initially believed that Suspect Vehicle 1 was a 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra. Upon further review, they indicated it could also be a 2011 to 2016 Hyundai Elantra. As a result, investigators have been reviewing information on persons in possession of a vehicle that is a 2011 to 2016 white Hyundai Elantra. Investigators were given access to video footage on the Washington State University campus located in Pullman, Washington. WSU maintains a series of surveillance cameras on and near its campus. A review of that video indicated that at approximately 2:44 a.m. on November 13, 2022, a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of the white Elantra known as Suspect Vehicle 1, was observed on WSU surveillance cameras traveling north on Southeast Nevada Street at Northeast Stadium Way. At approximately 2:53 a.m., a white sedan, which is consistent with the description of the white Elantra known as Suspect Vehicle 1, was observed traveling southeast on Nevada Street in Pullman, Washington, towards State Road 270. State Road 270 connects Pullman, Washington to Moscow, Idaho. This camera footage from Pullman, Washington was provided to the same FBI forensic examiner. The forensic examiner identified the vehicle observed in Pullman, Washington as being a 2014 to 2016 Hyundai Elantra. At approximately 5:25 a.m., a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of Suspect Vehicle 1, was observed on 5 cameras in Pullman, Washington, and on WSU campus cameras. The first camera that recorded the white sedan was located at 1300 Johnson Road in Pullman. The white sedan was observed traveling northbound on Johnson Road. Johnson Road leads directly back to West Palouse River Drive in Moscow, which intersects with Conestoga Drive. The white sedan was then observed turning north on Bishop Boulevard and northwest on State Road 270. At approximately 5:27 a.m., the white Elantra was observed on camera traveling northbound on Stadium Way at Nevada Street, Stadium Way at Grimes Way, Stadium Drive at Wilson Road, and Stadium Way at Cougar Way. Depiction showing Moscow and Pullman. Depiction showing white Elantra's path of travel. On November 25, 2022, MPD asked area law enforcement agencies to be on the lookout for a white Hyundai Elantra in the area. On November 29, 2022, at approximately 12:28 a.m., Washington State University police officer Daniel Tiengo queried white Elantras registered at WSU. As a result of that query, he located a 2015 white Elantra with the Pennsylvania license plate LFZ8649. This vehicle was registered to Bryan Kohberger, hereafter Kohberger, residing at 1630 Northeast Valley Road, apartment 201, Pullman, Washington. 1630 Northeast Valley Road is approximately 3/4 of a mile from the intersection of Stadium Way and Cougar Way, the last camera location that picked up the white Elantra. That same day at approximately 12:58 a.m., WSU officer Curtis Whitman was looking for white Hyundai Elantras and located a 2015 white Hyundai Elantra at 1630 Northeast Valley Road in Pullman in the parking lot. 1630 Northeast Valley Road is an apartment complex that houses WSU students. Officer Whitman also ran the car and it returned to Kohberger with a Washington tag. I reviewed Kohberger's Washington State driver's license information and photograph. This license indicates that Kohberger is a white male with a height of 6 feet and weighs 185 pounds. Additionally, the photograph of Kohberger shows that he has bushy eyebrows. Kohberger's physical description is consistent with the description of the male DM saw inside the King Road residence on November 13th. Further investigation, including a review of Latah County Sheriff Deputy Corporal Duke's body cam and reports, showed that on August 21, 2022, Bryan Kohberger was detained as part of a traffic stop that occurred in Moscow, Idaho by Corporal Duke. At the time, Kohberger, who was the sole occupant, was driving a white 2015 Hyundai Elantra with Pennsylvania plate LFZ 8649, which was set to expire on November 30, 2022. During the stop, which was recorded via law enforcement body camera, Kohberger provided his phone number as 509-592-8458, hereafter the 8458 phone, as his cellular telephone number. Investigators conducted electronic database queries and learned that the 8458 phone is a number issued by AT&T. On October 14, 2022, Bryan Kohberger was detained as part of a traffic stop by a WSU police officer. Upon review of that body cam and report of the stop, Kohberger was the sole occupant and was driving a white 2015 Hyundai Elantra with Pennsylvania plate LFC 8649. On November 18, 2022, according to a Washington State licensing, Kohberger registered the 2015 white Elantra with Washington and later received Washington plate CFB 8708. Prior to this time, the 2015 white Elantra was registered in Pennsylvania, which does not require a front license plate to be displayed. This was learned through communications with a Pennsylvania officer who is currently certified in the state of Pennsylvania. Based on my own experience and communication with Washington law enforcement, I know that Idaho and Washington require front and back license plates to be displayed. Investigators believe that Kohberger is still driving the 2015 white Elantra because his vehicle was captured on December 13, 2022 by a license plate reader in Loma, Colorado, information provided by a query to a database. Kohberger's Elantra was then queried on December 15, 2022 by law enforcement in Hancock County, Indiana. On December 16, 2022, at approximately 2:26 p.m., surveillance video showed Kohberger's Elantra in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. The sole occupant of the vehicle was a white male whose description was consistent with Kohberger. Kohberger has family in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, learned through TLO, which is a search and locate tool database query used by law enforcement. Based on information provided on the WSU website, Kohberger is currently a Ph.D. student in criminology at Washington State University. Pursuant to records provided by a member of the interview panel for the Pullman Police Department, we learned that Kohberger's past education include undergraduate degrees in psychology and cloud-based forensics. These records also showed Kohberger wrote an essay when he applied for the internship with the Pullman Police Department in the fall of 2022. Kohberger wrote in his essay that he had interest in assisting rural law enforcement agencies with how to better collect and analyze technological data in public safety operations. Kohberger also posted a Reddit survey which can be found by an open source internet search. The survey asked for participants to provide information to understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision making when committing a crime. As part of this investigation, law enforcement obtained search warrants to determine cellular devices that use cellular towers in close proximity to the King Road residence on November 13, 2022, between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. After determining that Kohberger was associated to both the 2015 white Elantra and the 8458 phone, investigators reviewed these search warrants. A query of the 8458 phone and these returns did not show the 8458 phone using cellular tower resources in close proximity to the King Road residence between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. Based on my training, experience, and conversations with law enforcement officers that specialize in the utilization of cellular telephone records as part of investigations, individuals can either leave their cellular phone at a different location before committing a crime or turn their cellular phone off prior to going to the location to commit a crime. This is done by subjects in an effort to avoid alerting law enforcement that a cellular device associated with them was in a particular area where a crime is committed. I also know that on numerous occasions, subjects will survey an area they intend to commit a crime prior to the date of the crime. Depending on the circumstances, this could be done for a few days before to several months before the commission of a crime. During these types of surveillance, it's possible that an individual would not leave their cellular phone at a separate location or turn it off since they do not plan to commit the offense on that particular day. On December 23, 2022, Corporal Payne applied for and was granted a search warrant for historical phone records between November 12, 2022 at 12 a.m. and November 14th at 12 a.m. for the 8458 phone held by the phone provider AT&T, approximately 24 hours preceding and following the times of the homicides. On December 23, 2022, pursuant to that search warrant, Corporal Payne received records for the 8458 phone from AT&T. These records indicated that the 8458 phone is subscribed to Bryan Kohberger at an address in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, and the account has been opened since June 23, 2022. These records also include historical cell site location information for the 8458 phone. After receiving this information, MPD consulted with an FBI special agent that is certified as a member of the Cellular Analysis Survey Team, or CAST. Members of the CAST are certified with the FBI to provide expert testimony in the field of historical CSLI and are required to pass extensive training that includes both written and practical examinations prior to being certified with CAST, as well as the completion of yearly certification requirements. Additionally, the FBI CAST special agent that I consulted with has over 15 years of federal law enforcement experience. This includes 6 years with the FBI. From information provided by CAST, investigators were able to determine estimated locations for the 8458 phone from November 12, 2022 to November 13, 2022, the time period authorized by the court. On November 13, 2022, at approximately 2:42 a.m., the 8458 phone was utilizing cellular resources that provide coverage to 1630 Northeast Valley Road, apartment G201, Pullman, Washington, hereafter the Kohberger residence. At approximately 2:47 a.m., the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that provided coverage southeast of the Kohberger residence, consistent with the 8458 phone leaving the Kohberger residence and traveling south through Pullman, Washington. This is consistent with the movement of the white Elantra. At approximately 2:47 a.m., the 8458 phone stops reporting to the network, which is consistent with either the phone being in an area without cellular coverage, the connection to the network is disabled, such as putting the phone in airplane mode, or that the phone is off. The 8458 phone does not report to the network again until approximately 4:48 a.m., at which time it utilized cellular resources that provide coverage to Idaho State Highway 95, south of Moscow, Idaho, near Blaine, Idaho. Between 4:50 a.m. and 5:26 a.m., the phone utilizes cellular resources that are consistent with the 8458 phone traveling south on Idaho State Highway 95 to Genesee, Idaho, then traveling west towards Uniontown, Idaho, and then north back to Pullman, Washington. At approximately 5:30 a.m., the 8458 phone is utilizing resources that provide coverage to Pullman, Washington, and consistent with the phone traveling back to the Kohberger residence. The 8458 phone's movements are consistent with the movements of the white Elantra that is observed traveling north on Stadium Drive at approximately 5:27 a.m. Based on a review of the 8458 phone's estimated locations and travel, the 8458 phone's travel is consistent with that of the white Elantra. Further review indicated that the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources on November 13, 2022, that are consistent with the 8458 phone leaving the area of the Kohberger residence at approximately 9 a.m. and traveling to Moscow, Idaho. Specifically, the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that would provide coverage to the King Road residence between 9:12 a.m. and 9:21 a.m. The 8458 phone next utilized cellular resources that are consistent with the 8458 phone traveling back to the area of the Kohberger residence and arriving to the area at approximately 9:32 a.m. Below is a depiction, not to scale, of the possible route taken based off cellular site locations. Investigators found that the 8458 phone did connect to a cell phone tower that provides service to Moscow on November 14, 2022, but investigators do not believe the 8458 phone was in Moscow on that date. The 8458 phone has not connected to any towers that provide service to Moscow since that date. Based on my training, experience, and the facts of the investigation thus far, I believe that Kohberger, the user of the 8458 phone, was likely the driver of the white Elantra that is observed departing Pullman, Washington, and that this vehicle is likely suspect vehicle 1. Additionally, the route of travel of the 8458 phone during the early morning hours of November 13, 2022, and the lack of the 8458 phone reporting to AT&T between 2:47 a.m. and 4:48 a.m. is consistent with Kohberger attempting to conceal his location during the quadruple homicide that occurred in the King Road residence. On December 23, 2022, I was granted a search warrant for Kohberger's historical CSLI from June 23, 2022 to current, prospective location information, and a PIN register trap and trace on the 8458 phone to aid in efforts to determine if Kohberger stalked any of the victims in this case prior to the offense, conducted surveillance on the King Road residence, was in contact with any of the victims' associates before or after the alleged offense, any locations that may contain evidence of the murders that occurred on November 13, 2022, the location of the white Elantra registered to Kohberger, as well as the location of Kohberger. On December 23, 2022, pursuant to that search warrant, investigators received historical records for the 8458 phone from AT&T from the time the account was opened in June 2022. After consulting with CAST Special Agent, investigators were able to determine estimated locations for the 8458 phone from June 2022 to present, the time period authorized by the court. The records for the 8458 phone show the 8458 phone utilizing cellular resources that provide coverage to the area of 1122 King Road on at least 12 occasions prior to November 13, 2022. All of these occasions, except for one, occurred in the late evening and early morning hours of their respective days. One of these occasions, on August 21, 2022, the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources providing coverage to King Road residents from approximately 10:34 p.m. to 11:35 p.m. At approximately 11:37 p.m., Kohberger was stopped by Latah County Sheriff's Deputy Corporal Duke, as mentioned above. The 8458 phone was utilizing cellular resources consistent with the location of the traffic stop during that time, Farm Road and Pullman Highway. Further analysis of the cellular data provided showed the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources on November 13, 2022, consistent with the phone traveling from Pullman, Washington to Lewiston, Idaho via U.S. Highway 195. At approximately 12:36 p.m., the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that would provide coverage to Kate's Cup of Joe coffee stand located at 810 Port Drive, Clarkston, Washington. Surveillance footage from the U.S. Chef's Store located at 820 Port Drive, Clarkston, Washington, and adjacent to Kate's Cup of Joe showed a white Elantra consistent with suspect vehicle 1 drive past Kate's Cup of Joe at a time consistent with the cellular data from the 8458 phone. At approximately 12:46 p.m., the 8458 phone then utilized cellular data in the area of Albertson's grocery store at 400 Bridge Street in Clarkston, Washington. Surveillance footage obtained from the Albertsons showed Kohberger exit the white Elantra, consistent with suspect vehicle 1, at approximately 12:49 p.m. Interior surveillance cameras show Kohberger walk through the store, purchase unknown items at the checkout, and then leave at approximately 1:04 p.m. Kohberger's possible path of travel is depicted below, not to scale. Additional analysis of records for the 8458 phone indicated that between approximately 5:32 p.m. and 5:36 p.m., the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that provide coverage to Johnson, Washington. The 8458 phone then stops reporting to the network from approximately 5:36 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. That is consistent with the 8458 phone being in the area that the 8458 phone traveled in the hours immediately following suspected times the homicide occurred. The King Road residence contained a significant amount of blood from the victims, including spatter and cast-off, bloodstain pattern resulting from the blood drops released from an object due to its motion, which, based on my training, makes it likely that this evidence was transferred to Kohberger's person, clothing, or shoes. Based on the location of the suspect vehicle and the 8458 phone immediately following the murders, it's probable that Kohberger went home to his residence at 1630 Northeast Valley Road, G201. At that time, it is likely that he still had blood or other trace evidence on his person, clothes, shoes, including skin cells or hair from the victims or from Goncalves' dog. It's likely that some trace evidence was transferred to areas in his apartment through contact with the items worn during the attack. One likely location for the clothes, masks, and shoes he was wearing during the attack would be his residence. While I believe Kohberger is visiting family in Pennsylvania over the current school break at WSU, I believe he intends to return for the start of next semester, so I expect his belongings to still be in his residence at 1630 Northeast Valley Road, G201. To date, we have not received the weapon used in the homicides, which would indicate that he took it with him from the scene. Based on my training, that weapon will likely contain trace evidence on it, such as blood or skin or hair from the crime scene. One likely location for the weapon or any sheath for the weapon would be in his residence. Based on my training and experience, when someone plans an event or action, one likely location for doing it is their residence or office. One would not want to conduct such planning in public if they are planning a criminal act, and so it is even more likely that the planning of a criminal act would be done in one's residence or office. These murders appear to have been planned, rather than a crime that happened in a moment of conflict. I believe that it's likely that Kohberger planned his actions ahead of time. The plans may have included a review of other murders or violent assaults, stabbings, or cutting of people, as well as how to avoid detection after the commission of such crimes, details of the 1122 King Road residence, its location and neighborhood, and or information about one or more of the victims, Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Goncalves, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogen, BF, and or DM. Further, based on my training and experience, criminals utilize electronic digital devices as well as paper and other medias in conducting planning of crimes, just as non-criminals use various media to plan activities. Therefore, there is probable cause to believe that the digital devices were used and or are being used in furtherance of the listed crime or to avoid detection for the listed crimes and likely contain evidence of the listed crimes. Evidence of the crimes described in this application could be contained in any type of digital device. The terms digital device and device include all devices capable of capturing and or storing digital data, such as computers, digital cameras, modems, routers, external memory drives, thumb drives, cellular telephones, GPS navigational devices, etc. Data stored on digital devices and media can easily be transferred from one device or storage media to another. Forensic experts and others with experience in retrieving and analyzing digital data have established the following. Digital devices typically retain some evidence of all activity taken via the device or associated media, and as such could contain evidence of crime. For example, data, whether stored intentionally or unintentionally, can contain evidence of knowledge, intent, efforts to conceal, sell or dispose of evidence or proceeds of criminal activity, accomplice identity, association with victims, or geographic location of the evidence possessor at particular dates and times. This information can be in numerous forms, such as photographs, address books or contact lists, or communication with others through means such as phone calls, email, instant messaging, social media, chat sessions, or other digital communications. Evidence can remain on the device or media for indefinite periods of time after the communication originally took place, even if deleted by the user. Information deleted by the user may be recovered by a forensic examiner throughout the working lifespan of the device. Digital data can be found in numerous locations and formats. Evidence can be embedded into unlikely files for the type of evidence, such as a photo included in a document or converted into a PDF file or other format in an effort to conceal their existence. Information on devices and media can be stored in random order, with deceptive file names, hidden from normal view, encrypted or password protected, and stored on unusual devices for the type of data, such as routers, printers, scanners, game consoles, or other devices that are similarly capable of storing digital data. Wholly apart from the user-generated files and data, digital devices and media typically store, often without any conscious action by the user, electronic evidence pertaining to virtually all actions taken on the digital device, and often information about the geographic location at which the device was turned on and or used. This data includes logs of device use, records of the creation, modification, deletion, and or sending of files, and uses of the internet, such as uses of social media websites and internet searches and browsing. Device-generated data also includes information regarding the user identity at any particular date and time, usage logs and information pertaining to the physical location of the device over time, pointers to outside storage locations, such as cloud storage, or devices to which the data may have been removed, and information about how that offsite storage is being used. If the device is synced with other devices, it will retain a record of that action. Digital device users typically do not erase or delete this evidence, because special software or use of special settings is usually required for the task. However, it is technically possible to delete this information. Digital devices can also reveal clues to other locations at which evidence may be found. For example, digital devices often maintain logs of connected digital or remote storage devices. A scanner or printer may store information that would identify the digital device with which it was used. Forensic examination of the device can often reveal those other locations where evidence may be present. As with other types of evidence, the context, location, and data surrounding information in the device data is often necessary to understand whether evidence falls within the scope of the warrant. This type of information will be important to the forensic examiner's ability to piece together and recognize evidence of the above listed crimes. Digital device programs frequently require passwords, phrases, codes, patterns, fingerprints, and/or usernames to operate. Those may be kept inside device, media, or outside in some other area known to the user. So, in addition to searching digital devices and media for evidence of the above listed crimes, investigators will need to search both the premises searched and the digital devices for this information. The forensic examiner may also need the following items in order to conduct a thorough and accurate search of the devices: computer hardware, software, peripherals, internal or external storage devices, power supplies, cables, internet connection and use information, security devices, software, manuals, and related materials. Modern digital devices and media can contain many gigabytes and even terabytes of data. Due to the potential for an extremely large volume of data contained in devices and media, and the fact that evidence can be stored and located in unanticipated locations or formats, and or embedded in other items stored on the device media, investigators typically need to use specialized equipment in their search. Such large volumes of data can also mean that searches can take days or even weeks to complete. For those reasons, I request authority to remove from the search location all digital devices and media that could contain evidence authorized for seizure under the warrant for subsequent search. I also request authority to obtain assistance from a technical specialist to review the digital devices and digital media for the best and least intrusive method of securing digital evidence that this warrant authorizes for seizure, and to assist in securing such evidence. Based on all the foregoing information, there is probable cause to believe that evidence of the above listed crime exists in the below described digital devices, and that there is probable cause to seize and search those devices for the evidence of the above crimes for the date range of August 21st, 2022 at 11:59 p.m. on November 12th, 2022, including evidence of other accounts associated with this device, including email addresses, social media accounts, messaging app accounts, and other accounts that may be accessed through the digital device that will aid in determining the possessor or user of the device. Photographs, images, videos, documents, and related data created, accessed, read, modified, received, stored, sent, moved, deleted, or otherwise manipulated between the above dates. Evidence of use of the device to conduct internet searches relating to a review of other murders or violent assaults/stabbings and or cutting of people, as well as how to avoid detection after the commission of such crimes. Details of the 1122 King Road house, its location and neighborhood, and or information about one or more of the victims: Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Goncalves, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogen, BF, and or DM. Information that can be used to calculate the position of the device between the above dates, including location data, GPS satellite data, GPS coordinates for routes and destination queries in the above listed dates, app data usage information and related location information, IP logs, or similar internet connection information, and images created, accessed, or modified between the above listed dates, together with their metadata and EXIF tags. Evidence of the identity of the person in possession of the device on or about any times that identify evidentiary value located pursuant to this warrant were created, modified, accessed, or otherwise manipulated. Such evidence may be found in digital communications, photos and videos, and associated metadata, IP logs, documents, social media activity, and similar data. Based on ISP investigators' review of the apartment on December 27, 2022, I know that 1630 Northeast Valley Road is a 3-story, multiple occupancy apartment building in Pullman, Washington, which is tan and white in color. Apartment G201 is located on the northeast corner of the second story of the building. The door to G201 is located on the east side of the second story landing and is designated by the numbers 201 on the door. The door is white with a swinging screen door on the outside of the main door to the residence. Kohberger has been identified as the occupant of this apartment on leasing documents obtained via subpoena as part of this investigation. Investigators have been informed via the postal inspector that Kohberger is the only person receiving mail at apartment G201. This leads investigators to believe he is the sole occupant. Based on all the above information, I conclude that there is a probability that Kohberger committed the 4 murders at the King Road residence. I have probable cause to believe evidence of the crimes committed at the King Road residence will be found at Kohberger's residence located at 1630 Northeast Valley Road, apartment G201, Pullman, Washington. I have probable cause to believe that Bryan Kohberger committed the crimes of murder first degree, Idaho Code 18-4001, 4002, 4003, 4004, in 4 counts, and burglary, Idaho Code 18-1401, 1403, all felonies. Mr. Kohberger has been charged with the above offenses in Latah County, Idaho. Based on the above information, I am seeking a search warrant for the Kohberger resident to search for blood or other bodily fluid or human tissue or skin cells or items with blood or other bodily fluid or human tissue or skin cells on the items. 2. Knives, sheaths, or other sharp tools, including any dagger, dirk, or sword, and any written indicia of ownership of the same, including sales receipts. 3. Any images, whether digital or on paper or any other format, that show Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Goncalves, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogen, BF, and/or DM, and/or the house at 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho, and/or the surrounding neighborhood. 4. Clothing, including but not limited to dark shirts, dark pants, masks, shoes with diamond pattern sole. 5. Trace evidence, including DNA from blood or skin cells, or other source, footprints, fingerprints, hair, whether human and animal or dog. 6. Data compilations, whether digital, electronic, or on paper or other format, showing an interest in or planning of murder, violent assault, stabbing, and/or cutting of people, and data compilation showing details of the 1122 King Road house, its location, and/or any information about Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Goncalves, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogen, BF, and/or DM, and data compilation showing the location of Bryan Kohberger or the cell phone with the number 509-592-8458 on November 13, 2022, including Wi-Fi logs and data or metadata associated with photos, social media posts, or applications on cell phones or computer towers, laptops, tablets. As example, but not intended to be an exclusive list of data compilations being sought: ledgers, papers, lists, books, notes, letters, calendars, address books, contact lists, diaries, tapes, photographs, videos, emails, text messages, social media messages, and metadata associated therewith. Number 7. Electronic digital devices or digital storage devices which may contain any of the above data compilations, including cell phones, computer towers, laptops, tablets, external hard drives, CD, DVD, thumb drives, or other data storage devices. This includes any device which may contain evidence of other accounts associated with the device, including email addresses, social media accounts, messaging app accounts, and other accounts that may be accessed through the digital device that will aid in determining the possessor/user of the device. Photographs, images, videos, documents, and related data created, accessed, read, modified, received, stored, sent, moved, deleted, or otherwise manipulated between the above dates. Evidence of use of the device to conduct internet searches relating to a review of other murders or violent assaults, stabbings, and/or cutting of people, as well as how to avoid detection after the commission of such crimes. Details of 1122 King Road House, its location, neighborhood, and/or information about one or more of the victims, Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Goncalves, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogen, BF, and/or DM. Information that can be used to calculate the position of devices between the above dates, including location data, GPS satellite data, GPS coordinates for routes and destination queries between the above listed dates, app data or usage information and related location information, IP logs or similar internet connection information, images created, accessed, or modified between the above listed dates, together with their metadata and EXIF tags. Evidence of the identity of the person in possession of the device on or about the times that items of evidentiary value located pursuant to this warrant were created, modified, accessed, or otherwise manipulated. Such evidence may be found in digital communications, photos, and videos associated with metadata, IP logs, documents, social media activity, and similar data. Also, passwords, phrases, codes, patterns, fingerprints, and/or usernames to operate any such device. Number 8. Indicia of residence in or ownership of possession of the premises and any of the above items. I am seeking a search warrant for Kohberger's office at WSU to search for 1. Any images, whether digital or on paper or any other format, which show Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Goncalves, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogen, BF, and/or DM, and/or the house at 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho, and/or the surrounding neighborhood. 2. Data compilations, whether digital, electronic, or on paper or any other format, showing an interest in or planning of murder, violent assault, stabbing, and/or cutting of people, and data compilations showing details of the 1122 King Road house, its location, and/or any information about Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Goncalves, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogen, BF, and/or DM. And data compilations showing the location of Bryan Kohberger or the cell phone with the number 509-592-8458 on November 13, 2022, including Wi-Fi logs and data or metadata associated with photos, social media posts, or applications on cell phones or computer towers, laptops, tablets, as an example, but not intended to be an exclusive list of data compilations being sought. Ledgers, papers, lists, books, notes, letters, calendars, address books, contact lists, diaries, tapes, photographs, videos, emails, text messages, social media posts, messages, and metadata associated therewith. 3. Electronic digital devices or digital storage devices which may contain any of the above data compilations, including cell phones, computer towers, laptops, tablets, external hard drives, CD, DVD, thumb drive, or other data storage devices. This includes any device which may contain evidence of other accounts associated with this device, including email addresses, social media accounts, messaging app accounts, and other accounts that may be accessed through the digital device that will aid in determining the possessor/user of the device. Photographs, images, videos, documents, and related data created, accessed, read, modified, received, stored, sent, moved, deleted, or otherwise manipulated between the above dates. Evidence of use of the device to conduct internet searches relating to a review of other murders or violent assaults/stabbings and/or cutting of people, as well as how to avoid detection after the commission of such crimes. Details of the 112 King Road house, its location, neighborhood, and/or information about one or more of the victims, Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Goncalves, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogen, BF, and/or DM. Information that can be used to calculate the position of the device between the above dates, including location data, GPS satellite data, GPS coordinates for routes and destination queries between the above listed dates, app data or usage information, and related location information, IP logs or similar internet connection information, and images created, accessed, or modified between the above listed dates, together with their metadata and EXIF tags. Evidence of the identity of the person in possession of the device on or about any times that items of evidentiary value located pursuant to this warrant were created, modified, accessed, or otherwise manipulated. Such evidence may be found in digital communications, photos, and video, and associated metadata, IP logs, documents, social media activity, and similar data. Also, passwords, phrases, codes, patterns, fingerprints, and/or usernames to operate any such device. 4. Indicia of ownership or possession or right of use of the office premises in any of the above items. Based off the above information, I'm also seeking a search warrant for Kohberger's office in the Washington State University campus. I have probable cause to believe evidence of the crimes committed at the King Road residence will be found in Kohberger's office, located on the WSU campus at Wilson Short Hall, number 12, Pullman, Washington. It is common for individuals to keep documents, records, and information of the type described above in their office, and Kohberger's office is the other location identified where this evidence could be found. Based off the WSU website, Kohberger's office is inside Wilson Short Hall. The address of Wilson Short Hall is 1475 Glen Terrell Mall, Pullman, Washington, 99163. Wilson Short Hall is a 4-story brick building housing multiple offices. Kohberger's office is number 12. Number 12 is a student office shared by Kohberger with 2 fellow students, Kai Chun-jin and Nyong Ko. Kohberger has been confirmed to be one of the students who utilizes this office. On December 29, 2022, investigators visited the office and Kohberger's name is on the outside. Based off the above information, I'm also seeking a search warrant for Kohberger's office on the Washington State University campus. It is common for individuals to keep documents, records, and information of the type described above in their office, and Kohberger's office is the other location identified where this evidence could be found. I declare under penalty of perjury, pursuant to the laws of the state of Idaho, Washington, and Pennsylvania, that the foregoing are true and correct. Date 12/29/22. Affiant Blaker. Subscribed and sworn to me on this 29th day of December, 2022. Mallory Stragle, Notary Public, State of Idaho.